And that's why, for all of you watching, when Moyo is like, ain't nobody love nobody from husbands to wives unless they willing to work for 7 years to show that they love them.
Yes.
I specifically said Abraham didn't love Sarah. That's what I specifically said.
But
Because
so
we start seeing what love looks like for other people,
Yes.
and you're like, Abraham just got somebody, just like Adam and Eve. Like they were just stuck together. They didn't have a choice.
They could have loved each other.
Not like this. Not like I'm gonna serve for all these years for you, and it feels like nothing.
Okay, I get
oh,
you.
man.
Okay.
All right. So, oh man.
That was good.
Next up, what is going on, XYZers and XYZ Nation? We back at you with the next episode as we finish up Genesis this season. Season 5. I like saying that because 5 is just a good round number.
Yeah.
So today we're looking at Genesis chapter 29. And I titled this episode The Old Switcheroo. Made hopefully it felt like, like somebody back in the 50s and 60s say, "Oh, switcheroo." No? All right, whatever. So, we are so glad that you are watching once again. There's something we're supposed to do here, and that something is to introduce ourselves. I am the latchkey one himself, the former X-Man repping Gen X all up in the area. Chris, and at the far end, we have...
I am Moya, the resident millennial.
And today we have another guest.
Hi, I'm Sheryl Coleman, and I am a Gen Xer too.
Yes, we in the building. We in the building. I don't know. This might be just millennial double X from now on.
Not from now on.
Well, he was like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. But thanks for coming. Anyone you just introduced yourself? Anyone you want to tell the folks about you? You can say no.
So I am close to both of these people. This is my pastor.
She turned it around on me. She's like, she did
happen.
the old switcheroo on me.
And this is my daughter-in-law.
Yes.
Yes, and I'm happy to be here.
I didn't know that's how y'all did that. That is so cute. My daughter in love. That is awesome.
Well, I always call her daughter, don't I?
Yes, but I didn't know that's what it was. I've got two people I call my daughters as well. I call them my faux daughters.
Faux daughters is crazy. I don't like that.
Don't like that?
No.
Faux daughters? That's like fake daughters.
Yeah.
They're not blood, but
Yeah,
they're like
but
daughters.
you're calling them like fake. Like you're there, but y'all not real daughters.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Maybe that's not good. I thought it was cool because faux is French, but hey, whatever. All right. So, without any further ado, we've bantered enough. I think the next thing we get into is the ISO Boom segment.
Yes. All right. So Genesis chapter 28, we have Isaac sending Jacob away. Isaac blesses him again. This is separate from the blessing that Jacob stole. So this is an official blessing where he's basically telling him, like, you can't marry the people, any Canaanite women, go to the land that of your mother, find a wife amongst your mother's brother Laban. He's giving him the blessing of Abraham where, his descendants will be numerous. He'll inherit the land, all of those things. And Jacob obeys and he leaves. Esau overhears this conversation and he realizes that his parents don't care for Canaanite women. And so he decides to go get a wife from Ishmael's children. Yep. And he marries Mahalath. I think is how you say it.
Yeah, something. Close.
But yeah, the daughter of Ishmael, like as a way to kind of like gain some favor or like get back in the good graces of everything. But we don't really hear anything else about it after that. Jacob heads to Haran, and as he's traveling, sun sets. He places a rock so that he can sleep, and while he's sleeping, he has a dream, and there's a ladder from earth to heaven, and there are angels ascending and descending on this ladder. And God speaks to him and tells him that he is the God of Abraham and Isaac. He gives Jacob the blessing, and tells him that his descendants will be great. God will be with him. God will watch over him everywhere that he goes. God will bring him back to the land of his father, and that he will not leave him at any point. Jacob awakes, and he's like kind of shocked, kind of afraid. He says that surely this is a place where God is. God is here in this place.
Right.
He calls the place the house of God, or a gate of heaven, a Bethel. And then he takes a stone that he uses as the pillow and sets it up as a pillar, basically an altar to the Lord there. Right. In that episode, we talked about how the relationship between this visual and how we're supposed to relate that to Jesus being that in between heaven and earth. So yeah, go back to the episode. Pastor Ron gave us a breakdown on that.
Yeah.
And then Jacob makes a vow, or kind of bargains with God to say,
it's crazy.
If God does all of the things that he says he's going to do and gives me food and clothing, then God will be my God.
Right.
And we were just like, bro, you just built an altar. You just did all these things. You just saw this miraculous vision or dream. And yet you're like, like God is not my God yet. But if he does all these things, I'll take him. Like, so yeah. So it was a little crazy to us, but that's how the chapter ends.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you as always. The Ice of Boom segments, one of the best segments you'll see around on the worldwide interwebs. Oh man! All right, so we ready to get into the chapter?
Yes.
Who is supposed to read first? Why, it's Chris this week.
Look at that.
Wow. Picture that. So we are going to be looking at Genesis chapter 29, verses 1 through 3. And they read as follows. Then Jacob went on his journey and came to the land of the people of the east. As he looked, he saw a well in the field, and behold, 3 flocks of sheep lying beside it. For out of that well the flocks were watered. The stone on the well's mouth was large, and when all the flocks were gathered there, the shepherds would roll the stone from the mouth of the well and water the sheep and put the stone back in its place over the mouth of the well. All right, so we see Jacob is making his way.
Yeah.
He's traveling.
Yeah.
Anything interesting about the direction he's traveling?
It's going east.
Yeah.
Again.
So, east, away from Canaan.
Yeah, away from the promise. I think we've seen that. I don't know how many times. I guess we should have kept the running tally of every time we heard someone going east. Away from the garden, they went east. Away from Canaan, now he's going east.
He's going east. Yeah. And so this is both the direction and it's sort of, I don't want to say he's leaving and distancing himself from God, but he's sort of distant. He's leaving the promised area that you just said. Mm-hmm. So what does he see when he gets there?
A well.
Yeah.
In a field.
In a field.
And sheep.
And sheep.
Yeah.
And it makes a big point
of the
stone.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna come up later.
Yeah, it definitely will. So this whole picture, anything stick out to you? Do we just go on to the next couple of verses, or?
I think they making a point to show that he has to travel a ways and get away from where he was. And also, he seemed to be from we don't get a lot of in depth with the Bible all the time, but he was close to his mom, and he leaned into her and her guidance and listened to her. Yeah. So and then also the way the culture was. So he's probably the first time traveling alone and on his own.
Yeah.
And he's going away from what he has always known.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that one thing that's kind of sticks out is that there's a stone over the well, because we haven't seen that. When the servant went to get a wife for Isaac, we didn't hear that the wells were covered or that there was anything that had to be done to gain access to the well. So it's just interesting, like, why are you telling us this fact? We'll find out. But yeah, it was just interesting that they said that.
Yep. So do you think by reading this, it takes multiple people to move that stone? Is that the feeling you got to get there?
Because it was rather large stone.
Yeah. So it's interesting that they
It might have been a bigger well than others have built, maybe.
Could be. But it's just wild that, one, it's a stone. Some commentaries I read say it's supposed to take you back to the stone that he laid his head on.
Oh, he laid
in the previous. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know about that. But I saw a couple of commentaries that I trust that say that. I'm not saying I completely agree with it. But then the second thing is that, this thing is big, and when there are 3 flocks, which means there's 3 shepherds, and when they get together, they roll the stone away. So, and then put it back when they're done.
Yeah.
So basically, nothing major there. He's just traveling, right? He's just going on his way and doing the things that he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
All right. So next up,
verse 4, right?
Yep.
Jacob said to them, "My brothers, where do you come from?" They said, "We are from Haran." He said to them, "Do you know Laban the son of Nahor?" They said, "We know him." He said to them, "It is well with him?" They said, "It is well. And see, Rachel his daughter is coming with the sheep." He said, "Behold, it is still high day. It is not time for the livestock to be gathered together. Water the sheep and go pasture them." But they said, "We cannot until all the flocks are gathered together and the stone is rolled from the mouth of the well. Then we water the sheep."
So not only is there 3 flocks of sheep and a well, but he's running into people. So anything interesting about the fact that Jacob starts quizzing him?
Well, he has to figure out where he is, right? Because he's just walking. We don't know how many places he's walked through at this point. So everywhere he goes, he has to say, who are you guys? Because he's looking for someone.
Right.
So it makes sense. But I like that they're like, "Oh, yeah, we're from Haran." And he's like, "Oh, Haran." Like,
yeah,
I know that name. Like, do you know this guy? And they're like, "Yeah, his daughter's coming." I also thought it was interesting that Rachel is a shepherdess.
Yes.
Because that doesn't seem like it should be a thing.
Actually, in my reading, I heard it wasn't too uncommon.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't have a huge lot of choices.
Yeah, but as a woman, why am I with the sheep?
But I think it's probably similar to today. Like, some girls are more geared to want to do certain things that seem more boyish or what is typical for a male than those who want to do other things. And I think it's just that was her personality.
Yeah, but the fact that they let her even do that. But if you're saying it was common, then okay.
It was pretty common. Yeah. From what I read.
Okay.
I when I first read it, I was like, whoa, why is she a shepherdess?
Yeah, we don't hear, at least I haven't seen anywhere else in the Bible in the Bible where they're talking about a woman being leading any sort of flock, because it's always representative of like a man who's leading, but like gentle. So maybe if we're talking about the gentle aspect, you could have a woman, but it's usually like a man in those stories.
Yep. I get it. But for whatever reason, it could even be because his sons are just horrible at doing it.
Right.
She gets to
I
do
think
it.
she was supposed to be very good at it.
That was my thought. I was like, she must be good at this when he's letting her do it. So yeah, he and I think this also shows some of the sovereignty of God, that he's actually walking and happening upon the right people.
Right. That's a good point.
And this isn't the first time we've seen it.
Right.
right? We've seen it before where when we were looking at Joseph's story, and I can't remember who was looking, but somebody was walking and they went to.
I thought Joseph was looking for his brothers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you. See, that's why we got partners on this because they be helping you out. But yeah, and he happened to be able to go and find his brothers. Even though that didn't end well for Joseph in the short term. But then I think another example I saw was the same thing with Ruth happening up in Boaz's lot. And look, we covered both Ruth and Joseph's story so far. So click in whatever corner the thing comes up in so that you can go and check those out.
Yeah.
So, so he knows where he is now. He knows that Haran he's close to. It's in the field, so it might be just on the outskirts of the city. Right. You know he's close to Haran. He knows that Laban is doing well and still alive, and he sees that Rachel is coming. They mentioned that his daughter is coming, so he's about to meet somebody. But then he starts to tell them about themselves.
Uh-huh.
Did you? What did you think about that?
Yeah, I don't know. Jacob, is he a know-it-all? He might be.
Or he could. I think it could just be establishing that he has shepherding skills or flock skills. Because I mean, can we just talk about stuff that's coming? Because I think his benefit.
Your husband's on. Why not?
Well, I think with the benefit is that it shows that when he got there, that he definitely doubled their wealth from what he could do with herding and shepherding. So he has that skill set, and even in the past, like with Esau, his brother, how he was in the field with the cattle, but I think Jacob could have been more in the field instead of like going hunting and gathering. So he might have that as his skill set.
Yeah,
it doesn't really say.
No,
but from what I gather from how he speaks, and then from how he was with his mother, and the opposite of being opposite of his brother, that's more like leaning towards that was just what he was good at.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, but the only time we really hear about him dealing with livestock is when his mom tells him to go get the goats.
Yeah.
And so I was like, does that mean he was good with goats and knew what was going on?
I mean, that could make sense if he has. It could make sense that she says, "Go get a goat." It's like maybe he's the keeper of the animals.
Maybe
his brother hunts and does the things, and he's more of a
Yeah.
So that could make sense.
That could make sense. I'm not mad at it, but I think it does that. But I think I agree with you. It's almost like why now do you have to like impress upon folks how smart you are about this?
And they also, I mean, they responded. It didn't seem like they took offense to what he was saying. It was just like, hey, this is how we do things. We're waiting for this to happen before we do. So I don't know. I don't think they were offended. I think we may be reading it as.
I think they was a little, but they said we cannot until all the flocks are gathered and the stone is rolled from the mouth. I think it's, okay. I'm going to take a step back. This is how we do things. But what I think it shows is the dependence that each of them has on the other to be able to water the flock. And what I think Jacob is saying is that you could be out doing something else and then coming back later on to water the flock. You don't need to do that right now. Why are you sitting here waiting with your flock instead of having them out to pasture, eating, getting fat, or doing whatever it is they need to do? So,
and also I think the point he was making is still high day, and if you know anything about the field and stuff, I mean, I don't know a lot, but like even us today, we don't want to work in the high of the day. It's hot.
It's hot out there.
It's hot out there, so you making them suffer. They will definitely be want more drinking water and stuff. So I see his point. Like y'all got y'all time and all.
Right. I just don't know if he should have said it then.
Oh,
I'm not saying he's wrong.
yeah.
You just meet somebody and like, nah, you're doing it all wrong.
Okay.
So you just meet somebody even for this podcast, and they come up like, no, Mario, that's not how you should do it. You should do it this way.
Yeah.
You know what? But it also
We
could
got
be
5 years in. What you mean? No, 5 seasons in. What you mean?
But it also could be God in a sense. To me, what I'm saying is like he just gave him a blessing, told him what he's going to do, and he said, "Okay, you have to give me these things, then I'll serve you. So if this is where you're going to place me, then I need to represent. I need to stand up because I don't have my mother to lean on. I don't have my family to lean on.
I don't know.
I'm just
This gives me shades of Joseph.
Yeah, because you had them dreams and then you think you
Yeah, you
good.
think you just be
That's
like-
what I'm saying. So is that a thing? Once you see God for yourself and then you like get confidence. If God really spoke to us, I think I'd be confident. We supposed to be bold in Christ anyway. He said be bold. So
I don't know. I think there's some tact that you have to use sometimes. We see what happened with
Well,
that.
then he
What happened
was-
with Joseph? His brothers wanted to kill him after he told them this. I don't need anybody trying to kill me.
but this is also the guy who wrestled with him.
Mm-hmm. No,
So he contends. If he going to contend and wrestle with God,
I mean, he just bargained with God too, so
Yeah,
he's
he
not
bargained, yeah.
he's not like his daddy. He's not a
Yeah.
people pleaser. He's
No.
not trying to just do what everybody wants him to do.
Right.
He speaks up. He stole his brother's birthright for some
Right.
stew. Like his personality is not to not speak up. Yeah,
not to cower.
yeah. So it makes sense for Jacob.
Yeah.
to be this way.
Yeah, to me.
I agree. I think it does too.
But I think people also are going to keep that in their mind. Like we kind of know how you are, so we gonna act accordingly. I think Rachel was similar to Jacob, and Laban is definitely similar to Jacob. Like he got it from his mama. Like that side of the family.
The whole right.
Yeah, so it makes sense, and I think that's why I don't feel like they were offended. They were just like, "Listen, bro, we don't do it like that. We're doing this."
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're used to that whole dynamic.
Yeah.
And how things are done. Okay. All right, cool. So Jacob is almost said Joseph. So Jacob is getting there, getting to his place, getting to his peoples.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? All right. Next dip.
All right. Genesis chapter 29 verses. Am I doing 9 to 14? Yes. Okay. While he was still speaking with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she was a shepherdess. Now, as soon as Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, Jacob came near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. Then Jacob kissed Rachel and wept out aloud. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's kinsman and that he was Rebekah's son, and she ran and told her father. As soon as Laban heard the news about Jacob, his sister's son, he ran to meet him and embraced him and kissed him and brought him to his house. Jacob told Laban all these things, and Laban said to him, "Surely you are my bone and my flesh." And he stayed with him a month.
Wow. So it just continues.
Yeah.
Rachel finally gets there, and it's interesting to me that it's like while he was still talking. So it's almost like when I read the Gospel of Mark, I always call it like an action book because everything is like immediately and then this and immediately and right after this. And that's what I get here. It's almost like right while they were talking, boom, almost immediately. Here comes Rachel on the scene. She came there and she was a shepherdess and all the good stuff.
Yeah.
So they make a point, one, of talking about, I don't know how many times in here that they're related.
Right.
Because is the point I think is meant to say, these are your people. This is where you're supposed to go. But there's also some other things that happen that Jacob does that is interesting to me. How would you feel if he's like he just sees you and then walks up, kisses you, and starts crying on you?
It might be normal for that time though, because they sojourning. I mean, for sojourning, think about like we get places kind of quickly, but it takes a minute to go places in that time. Like the land you walking, it's not like they had vehicles. So when it doesn't say how long it took him to get from from where he was to where he landed.
Right.
So his weeping is of joy, like could be of joy or relief, and it could be normal, like you have come and this is where you ended up, and you now with family, and you haven't been with family.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense from Jacob's standpoint.
But you said,
but Rachel don't know him from a well.
But I think that's still normal if in that time when you moved on, like you don't have telephone, you just know by word of mouth. You saved you my father's.
He kissed her and wept on her before he told her, I believe.
Yeah.
Who he was.
Well, first he takes the stone off of the well.
We can't skip that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So initially I was like, we just said they were waiting for everybody to get here so they can take the stone off, and he's like, she's here, moves the stone like it's nothing. Like that's how I was envisioning, like, why is he so easily able to take it off if we have to wait for everybody to get here?
I think they're trying to show how strong he is. Because if it took 3 of them, and or y'all saying it could have took 3 of them, or
they just wanted to wait so they only do it one time, or I don't know.
I was when I read it, I was like, it's either showing a God endued strength at that time, right? God gives him the strength to move it. That's one possibility. The second possibility is that yes, it is large, and maybe Jacob is like a little stronger, but he's still a man and he's able to move it on himself by himself. And or because it could be a combination of things, the shepherds that were out there with their flocks are just too lazy to have to roll the stone away 3 times or to do it all on their own. And I think this is showing Jacob is industrious. He's willing to work.
Yeah.
Just that when you think about it, and all we've been through, we haven't heard anything about anybody that the Lord has put his hand on being lazy and not wanting to do the work. It's usually other folks who are like that.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 things I thought when I read.
Yeah. Yeah. And to him not being lazy, he takes it off and then he waters the flock. So he does the work that they were waiting out there to do for Rebecca.
Right.
For Rachel.
For Rachel, sorry. These people and their names, bro.
I know.
They always have to start with the same letters too.
I know. It's hard.
Yeah, y'all doing too much. It's so many letters in the alphabet. But it's probably different in their actual language, maybe. But it might be worse.
I think it's 22. Oh man. So
yeah.
And then the other thing, just to touch on with this, does this give you shades of when the servant, and this might be why you said Rebecca, when the servant went to meet Rebecca.
Yeah. And Rebecca does all the work for the camels.
So it's almost like it's switched around. Hey, look at that. The old switcheroo.
Yeah. Her son is doing what she did, basically.
Right.
And I think that's indicative of him being close to his mother. He knew what to do.
Yeah.
Like he knew what to do. And again, like speaking to what happens in the future, his industrialists make them rich. They want him. That month there, he helps.
Oh yeah.
And then that
Yep. What happens after that? We'll see that in the upcoming chapters.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then the last thing, even to remember we talked about when Rebecca, the servant and Rebecca, and we talked about they ran here and they ran back and then they ran out. I mean, it's like the same thing. She runs home.
Right.
And so what else would you expect from Laban? Hey, Dad, Rebecca's son is here.
Yeah, Rebecca's son who has all that money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, this could be another payday.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know if that's right. I don't know if y'all get that same, but that's
think
how I
that's who
view Laban.
Laban is, and we see that later. That's he. Well, we saw it already with his sister, because he's like, "Why you lead him over there? They gave you a gold ring in your nose, and they gave you this, and they gave you that. Like, let's show them some hospitality. Let's get them to chill and eat and give us more stuff."
Right.
And when they're negotiating for his sister, he comes up, like, he gets stuff out of it. And now it's like, oh, her son is here? Like, what he want?
Hold up.
Yeah.
We got some highfalutins up in here.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So it's just, you can just sort of feel the tension building. I don't know if you all can, but I can just sort of feel the tension building as these things are happening.
Yeah, right now I just feel everybody's happy. Everybody's like at peace, kind of. Up until he stayed with him for a month. Like, up until that point, everybody's at peace. Everybody's happy.
Got him a month.
But what I find interesting, because a lot of times when it's people who end up together in the Bible or couples, is usually they seem to address the beauty first. They haven't mentioned Rachel beauty yet, and that usually be like front and center.
That's true.
And another thing that catches my idea, it didn't center, like he was just treating her as a kinsman. He wasn't treating her as an attractive mate yet either.
Right.
Which is fine. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying sometimes it'll be clear, like, oh, like in all the other things, it'll be a beautiful, they mention her beauty first,
right?
But no, they talk about her skill set. Shepherdess in the field, brought the sheep to water,
right?
So her skill set is predominant for the family, and then
yeah, you're right. That's a really good point. Because usually, whenever they introduce somebody, such and such, he was handsome, rugged, or she was lovely, and this is like, okay.
Yeah.
But we didn't start that way this time.
Nope.
Next up, Genesis chapter 29, verses 15 to 20. Before we move on, just want to point this out, because it's like Laban sort of does the welcome into the family, or I know your family, surely you are bone and my flesh.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Right.
And I think that sort of points you back to Genesis,
right.
Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. So it's sort of been this idea of identifying you as a relative of mine, as kinsman. And then, just as was mentioned earlier, he stays with him a month. So, and this will come up, but he's staying with him a month. Well, let's just read the next couple verses, and then we'll talk about that.
Okay.
All right, Genesis chapter 29, verses 15 to 20. Then Laban said to Jacob, because you are my kinsman, should you therefore serve me for nothing? Tell me, what shall your wages be? Now Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the older was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah's eyes were weak, but Rachel was beautiful in form and appearance. Jacob loved Rachel, and he said, I will serve you 7 years for your younger daughter Rachel. Laban said, it is better that I give her to you than I should give her to any other man. Stay with me. So Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed to him but a few days because of the love he had for her. So he's been there a month, and I guess he's like, all right, you can't keep freeloading. And he's basically saying, how should I treat you? Did y'all pick up on that? Because he's not a slave or a servant. He's kinsman.
Yeah.
So do I give you wages like I would do for a hired worker? I can't put you. I got to figure out where I'm going to put you and how I'm going to deal with you.
That was the comment. You said freeloader. If anything, Laban is taking advantage.
Yeah, but we don't.
It's not freeloading. If I'm working for free, that's why he said, what should your wages be?
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. You think that he was working there for the month, and now he's finally like,
No, Laban is like, it's not in his character. Is why you think it freeloading.
Exactly.
But technically, it is, because he wasn't doing nothing for that month. That's why he said, because you are my kinsman, should you therefore serve me for nothing?
Okay, yeah, so I can see that. So he was
Right.
doing
So he
something.
was doing something, and he's like, "Well, what are you doing this for?" Basically,
Okay.
like,
All right.
Yeah, that's how I saw it too.
Okay.
That he was with him for a month and he was working, but he was just
right,
he's staying there for free. He's eating, but he's doing work. So he's like,
right.
"Are you just gonna keep working for no reason, or like you
Right.
want something out of this?"
Right.
Well,
Okay, I can see that.
where the wages
that.
come from, because the servants work, they do get food, room, and board, but they don't get anything else because they're servants.
Right.
But that's where wages mean you getting something else in addition to just living,
So
like kids.
right.
Yeah.
So you don't think that there was any conundrum about how he dealt with him in terms of
Not at this
pay
point.
or anything like that? When he's asking what his wages shall be,
I think he
what
was
he
going
what's going on?
because I think he is bringing something to the table with his
Mhm.
skills. He either making more product produced,
Mhm.
or you not. He don't have to hire somebody else for whatever that body is taking up. So that's profit too.
Mhm.
So what do you want for this? How long are you going to stay? Probably also asking him. You've been here a month. Are you going to continue? Or
Yeah,
what are you doing?
yeah,
What are you doing?
yeah. We also don't know what Jacob has told Laban and Rachel
Right.
and the family. Like we don't know exactly what he told them when they say he told them all these things. What
Right.
did he
Yeah.
What all the
tell?
things?
Yeah,
Is it everything, or did
yeah,
he hide something?
yeah.
Agreed.
So we don't know if Laban is like, "Hey, you said you're going to be here for a little bit, and it's been a
Yeah.
month. Are you going back home? Like, is
Right.
your mom going to call for you? Are you just going to stay? Like, I don't know. We don't know what Laban knows."
Yeah. Some of this is character stuff, and I don't
Right.
know if there are good answers to it or if anybody has answers, but it's interesting to me that we have already seen some of the character of Laban. He's going to get as much as he can for as little as he can.
Right.
And the fact that he brings up wages,
Before Jacob
yeah, is almost like, to me,
counter.
why? Right.
Mhm.
Because why not just have you work for another month? And then if that extends to another month,
Like,
work for another
wait
month.
for Jacob to say
Yeah, to
something.
say
Yeah.
something. So I think he's, I don't know. I think
But
he's trying to get ahead of something.
yeah, he could be though, because, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe he wants to be like, "What are you actually here for?"
Mm-hmm.
And if it's one of my daughters, I got some. Like, we don't like. It could be that Laban just knows you're here for something. Let's start. Let's get on the road to whatever you're trying to
Yeah,
accomplish.
maybe. Right.
But again, we don't know what Laban knows
Or
already.
it could still be within his personality. Like, I need to be saving up if you're gonna be asking me for payback.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
You
That's
get
what
what
I'm
I'm
wondering.
saying? So it's more. I mean, it could be just that. Like, I don't want no surprises.
And he didn't offer either, right?
Right. He
He
didn't
didn't
offer.
say, "I'll
He
give you
did.
this."
Right. He
He's
just said, "Well,
asking it,
what
putting in your court.
what? Because like, if you put the price on, it might be low. If I offer too high,
Right.
I might be stuck."
Right.
So it still could be. It still is his. He could be just looking at his finance. It's been a month. I don't want you to be like at the end of 4 years. I just need you to back pay me for 4 years.
Right.
Hey,
Yeah.
so he could be thinking about himself too. Like,
Yeah. It could
Yeah.
be. Yep.
so.
This is just the whole thing is just
Yeah.
interesting, and
Mhm.
it is because one thing, serve and wages, and
Yeah.
that is um a big aspect
Of the
of
culture.
the whole Jacob and Laban interaction that we see
Yeah.
over the next couple of chapters.
Yeah.
Wages come up a lot. Serve comes up a lot. Hired comes up even. So
Mm.
I think this is also setting us up for that.
Right.
But Jacob knows what he wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We finally meet Laban's daughters. And what do we learn about them? Why the sigh?
Cause it's Leah. Leah's older, and she has, and the description is just like, God you created us all in your image, but he be having some crazy
Good
descriptions
descriptions.
of his
Yeah.
people. She's weak eyed. And I'm like, what does that mean?
What does that mean? Did you look that up?
I looked it up, and before I looked it up, I was thinking about like all the sermons I've heard where they're like basically saying the girl is ugly, and when I looked it up, I didn't get ugly. I got more. Okay, so the definitions were tender, soft, delicate, weak, or weak of heart, timid, soft of words, gentle words. So it was like maybe she's just not as outgoing. Like she doesn't have that spark. Like I don't look at her and feel anything. That's how I now read it, because I feel like she's not ugly. Their family is beautiful people. Like,
right.
We haven't met any ugly people.
Yeah.
So I just can't imagine that I feel like she's just more reserved, and maybe that's why part of why she's not already married. And Rachel is more outgoing. She's a shepherdess. She's with the men. She's always doing something. And Leah seems to be more quiet and
she was
reserved.
shy.
Yeah,
like because shy people do tend to close their eyes. Not close their eyes, but like cower, so you're not gonna see me.
Yeah, not noticeable.
I don't cower from nobody.
But not noticeable. Like you wouldn't stand out. Like, you're just. I don't think she was ugly. I think she was just I don't even know what the word is, but not noticeable. Like I'm not looking at you because there's nothing spectacular about you.
I like the idea of tender.
Okay.
Yeah, that and soft.
So all y'all people that be calling her ugly, stop that.
Yeah.
Because I used to be like, why would anyone name their daughter Leah after reading this? Because of how people preached it.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh.
No, I never thought that was just like weak eyes. I just thought that maybe
they used to make it seem like she had a lazy eye, like one eye looking one way.
That's
how they used to preach it when we were growing up. When I was growing
up. Oh my goodness. Yes. Actually, and I did read, and I have to verify this, that Leah means cow.
Yeah, well, that's what I would like, doe. That made me think of like if she got an animal like presence, like soft and.
Rachel means you, from what I read.
Yeah.
Well, so, they just like naming them after the animals.
But yeah, I think that's a big, and I'm glad we touched on that because I think that's a big. The way it's worded is weird, and when you look at different translations, like the NET will say that she has gentle or she has tender eyes. So they don't use the word weak there for that. Yeah. So and then, so that's Leah. So and what do we find out about Rachel?
She was beautiful, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then he realized he liked her.
Yeah. He says here, but Rachel.
He loved her.
Right? But Rachel, wait, we're gonna get there. I know you won't get there.
Yeah. Just to see what people do for love, Abraham.
He says here, Rachel was beautiful in form and appearance.
Oh, but you know what? That actually helps us with Leah, because the point is not just was she pretty to look at, she was, as far as her face, her body was banging.
Right.
We'll say now. Compared to Lee, they don't even mention her body.
Right. And I think
she's unnoticeable. Like she could be the baddest in this room, but she's just quiet. Everybody doesn't always notice the quiet girl.
Right.
Until she, like in movies where you have like the nerdy one with the glasses that sits in the corner, but then she finally get dressed and you be like, wait a minute, that's what you look like?
But still, nobody has
no one noticed her. So
that's what I was thinking.
But nobody's tried to marry her either.
Yeah, because no one's noticed her.
Yeah.
That's the point.
So, man, I think that gives us some insight as to why Jacob has more desire for Rachel than he does for Leah.
Yeah.
So.
And also, I think if she was a shepherdess, he could see it could be also what we doing together.
Yeah, they could have some things in common. That.
Yeah.
What is it? They have good banter.
Yeah, spend
they
more time
vibe
together.
Yeah, they vibe.
All them young terms folks say. Yeah. Oh man. All right, so and then Laban, I don't know, when the way that Laban talks about his daughters is interesting to me as we go through this. So it's better that I give her to you than to anyone else. I mean, like, I guess you still give away your daughter, but it just seems a little cold.
But that's the culture though, because it was even when we talk about even not that long ago in our culture, you had to get your daughter to be with someone.
So
Like you couldn't establish stuff. So it definitely that many years ago, if without a man, you at the mercy of a lot, and I'm sure he's getting older, and you want them to be married and know that they with someone and establish their family, because that's even it's just so out there with the land, and you at the mercy of land and gotta fend yourself, feed for yourself.
right.
And even in a modern society, years later,
Mm-hmm.
you still like, the father was like, you got to get married.
Yeah.
I need to know you good before I pass on.
Was
So
it any different when he was dealing with Rebecca? I'm trying to remember.
Not really.
I
Well, it
don't
was
think he wasn't concerned because she's the younger one. I gotta first get rid of the
No,
first.
I mean it's
Rebecca, his sister. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
nah,
that
nah,
he
yeah.
he was like, if that's what God wants, then go ahead.
Right.
That was the only thing. There was no.
I feel like they made the decision. Did they make the decision that she should go with them without her, and then went back to ask her if she wants to go?
They made the decision without her because they said if that's what God
Right.
wants, then who are we to
Right.
change those plans? And then they wanted to keep her for the 10
For the 7 days.
yeah, however many days, and then they were like, okay, we'll ask her, and
Right.
she said no, I'll just go now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I guess it was pretty similar to the way that he's handling his daughters. So okay. I'm just
there's no God involved here.
I'm
With his
just a girl
sister,
dad.
at least it was like God ordained, and he's like, I mean, if that's what y'all God does, then okay.
Yeah.
And do we know if Laban had sons?
Yes.
Yes, he does. We'll find that out later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But
And
say they not.
And yeah, it's
then they would be responsible for their sister if she never gets married.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah.
They would. And to your point, Moyo, there is no overt discussion of the fact that it's God ordained, but we all know that this is God working things
to
out.
teach him a lesson
Mm-hmm.
about the switcheroo.
The switcheroo. So he says, and this is we talked about, I don't think he, as you all pointed out, I don't think he treated his sister any differently. But Jacob offers up how long he's going to serve for Rachel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't forget why he does not mind serving this long to.
Because he loves her.
He
It was
loves
a couple days, just a few days, 7 years.
But what always struck me is this is like 7 years. I can see 2. I must never been in love.
Nobody been in love like Jacob. Nobody.
she said nobody been in love like Jacob.
7 years.
He's on the extreme other end of love.
I guess that could be 7 years. It's complete. It's a completion number. But that's a good amount of time. But then I said they did live a long time in those days. So 7 years could not maybe just feel like it ain't much time.
Not that. I feel like it's not. That's a long time. His brother has 3 wives already. Like you gotta exactly. You gonna wait another 7 years? Exactly. This is a lot.
But how old did he live? Do we know? Do we remember?
How old does Jacob live too?
Yeah,
I want to say it's like 165 or something.
Okay, 7 years out of 165 is
like
like
165. I don't think he lived as long as Abraham, who was 175, and Isaac was 180, I think. Yeah. So I think he was a little short of.
But that's a long time.
7 years, but he offered up his own time. So this is what he was willing to do.
I agree. Like I said, I think I would have started with 2.
And that's why, for all of you watching, when Moyo is like, ain't nobody love nobody from husbands to wives unless they willing to work for 7 years to show that they love them.
Yes.
I specifically said Abraham didn't love Sarah. That's what I specifically said.
But
Because we start seeing what love looks like for other people,
Yes.
and you're like, Abraham just got somebody, just like Adam and Eve. Like they were just stuck together. They didn't have a choice.
They could have loved each other.
Not like this. Not like I'm gonna serve for all these years for you, and it feels like nothing.
Okay, I get you.
Man.
Okay.
All right. So, oh man.
That was good.
Next up, Sheryl.
What verse?
21 to 25.
Okay, just to make sure. Then Jacob said to Laban, "Give me my wife that I may go into her, for my time is completed." So Laban gathered together all the people of the place and made a feast. But in the evening he took his daughter Leah and brought her to Jacob, and he went into her. Laban gave his female servant Zilpah to his daughter Leah to be her servant. And in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And Jacob said to Laban, "What is this you have done to me? Did I not serve with you for Rachel? Why then have you deceived me?"
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Switched.
Yep.
The
Switcheroo.
all right, so Pastor Ron said that Jacob does not mean trickster.
It doesn't.
But the trickster got tricked.
Yeah.
He did.
He got deceived, just like he has been deceiving.
The deceiver got deceived.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like he had been deceiving everyone else.
You know what's so funny to me in this, when you start with the switcheroo, he did trick his father into giving them inheritance, but it's still based upon what you said, God.
Yeah.
You said I was going to get it. But I guess I still should have just been upfront and said, "Look, God said I'm going to get it. Can you give it to me?" Maybe then this wouldn't have happened with Leah and Rachel.
Yeah. We don't know.
We don't know.
We said it, but regardless of how, whether you did what he did to deceive or not, it was still going to work out that the younger was going to rule.
Right.
It would have just happened through a different means.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't think we should be trying to say, the ends justify the means per se, because that leads to some behavior that just
I don't
doesn't.
mean that the end justified the meant. I just meant that he did it because you told. If Rachel hadn't said this, what he said, would she have tried to take it from her son? I wonder.
Rebecca.
Yeah, for Rebecca, I don't know. I don't know what her motive. I think you can make the call that her motivation is because of what the Lord told her, but we aren't told that explicitly. Yeah. We also are told that she loves Jacob more than she loves Esau. So that combination of things and other things that may have been going on in her head probably moved her to make that move.
Yeah.
So, yeah, here it's time. He served his time. It's like, give me my wife.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right, my time. I worked the 7 years. It's time for me to be married and to consummate this marriage. And note, right? He says, "Give me my wife." So there is that idea in the ancient Near East where once you are betrothed to someone, they are looked at as your wife, even though the consummation of the marriage hasn't happened yet. So at this point, he's like, "All right, it's time to consummate this marriage."
Right.
Right. And Laban doesn't even answer him.
He don't.
Did you pick up on that?
Yeah.
What does he do instead?
He just prepares for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, "Okay, I got you."
Yeah. They have a wedding, a feast.
Mm-hmm.
We know what they do at feasts in these times. So.
Yep. They drink. They do all that stuff. And then we find out about the servant. It's going to be big. But then he switches her out.
Yeah.
Switches her out for Leah. And Jacob's response is expected, right?
Yeah.
And some of these terms we've seen before even.
Right.
Yeah. What is this I have done to you? It's like when the, what are they called? Abimelech.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what are y'all doing?
Well, yeah.
Like, what did we do to you?
Yep.
But
I want to say, why then have you deceived me? It's probably from earlier in the story when he was dealing with his dad.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a little upset, and understandably so.
But it also shows that Laban was planning this. Because like he even not just prepared the feast, but he also like, okay, she's gonna be a wife. She needs a female servant. He he had to talk to the servant like, you will be, she's gonna be now the head of her household with Jacob, and she has her own servant. So he's kind of even preparing them as if it was the truth, but it still is hidden. It's hidden from Jacob, but he's treating it as if this is what should happen.
Right.
You asked for Rachel, but you should have asked for Leah. So
Yeah.
you forget Leah.
Well,
regardless of what you asked for.
let's read the next part because then we can talk about that.
Yeah. All right. Genesis chapter 29, verses 26 to 30. Laban said, it is not so done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn. Complete the week of this one, and we will give you the other also in return for serving me another 7 years. Jacob did so and completed her week. Then Laban gave his daughter Rachel to be his wife. Laban gave his female servant Bilhah to his daughter Rachel to be her servant. So Jacob went into Rachel also, and he loved Rachel more than Leah, and served Laban for another 7 years.
All right. How do y'all feel about the fact that Laban is falling back on this custom of how things should happen?
I actually don't think it's a bad idea because it is the custom, and Leah need, it's a bad rap to get married after your younger child, younger sibling.
Right. I can see
So
that.
culturally, he's looking at the dispute that it'll come, the ill dispute that will come toward his oldest daughter, and like, well, what's wrong with her? So it'll be even harder for like, okay, well, your younger daughter's married.
Right.
What was wrong with Leah?
Right.
So I could see it from that point of view. His dishonesty is something, he could have been upfront and maybe said it at the beginning, or even somewhere in them 7 years.
Yeah.
But like you said, I think it was a lesson to Jacob, like, you reap what you sow.
Yeah. I think he gets to see what it feels like to be on the other side.
Yep.
Mm.
Do you have anything on that, Moyo?
No, I think what Mom Coleman said is right. Like, he could have told him earlier, but he didn't, and now we're here. And I think in your notes you put complete another week, but you put 7 years. And from my understanding is complete another week is finish out her marriage ceremony, and then
that's better.
I'll give you this one, but you still gotta work.
Yeah. He ain't giving nothing for free.
Like, you can have her as your wife after the 7 days, but you're gonna work 7 years.
Yes, exactly.
But I kind of appreciated that too, because in a sense, he still only worked 7 years for Rachel. He got 2. He got a bonus. But I mean,
he didn't have to wait 14 years to get
wait.
He didn't have to wait.
He had to work 7
he still
more
had to
years.
work. He still had to work 14
But
years.
he was doing that work anyway. And where is he gonna go? Still got to go someplace else to do work for his new wife.
Yeah, I get that.
So I agree, but I'm saying at least he didn't have to wait 4 years and only been with Leah. Now that would have been kind of weird.
Yeah,
because now they both got a contempt for the man. Instead of, you had him a 7 whole years.
Yeah, that would have been crazy.
That would have been crazy. Like, no, he was just mine for 7 years. You ain't got nothing coming, girl. So it was unfair, but it would have been. I mean, they definitely probably rivaled over having him as one husband.
Oh, yeah.
But to wait 7 years in between would have
made it. Made it even crazier, creepier, crazier.
Yeah, because I'm like, this been my man. This been my man 7 years only.
It's already creepy because I was looking at something and they were like, well, how does Leah feel about this whole ordeal?
Yeah.
She's not the one that he really wants. She's put into this situation.
Yeah. But it's her custom.
I feel bad for her.
But you know what? I agree, but that's a lot of women before a certain time. Like, that's just, I mean, they arrange marriages. I mean, old men with young girls.
Can you
is standard.
Your dad had to trick Jacob into marrying you. Yeah, I mean, like reputation wise and the whole nine. So
Yeah.
it's got to be
a lot.
It's got to be a lot. Yeah, I like that better than what I was going to say. I think I got the last one. Yep. Genesis chapter 29, verses 31 through 35. When the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. And Leah conceived and bore a son, and she called his name Reuben. For she said, because the Lord has looked upon my affliction, for now my husband will love me. She conceived again and bore a son, and said, because the Lord has heard that I am hated, he has given me this son also. And she called his name Simeon. Again she conceived and bore a son, and said, now this time my husband will be attached to me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore his name was called Levi. And she conceived again and bore a son, and said, this time I will praise the Lord. Therefore she called his name Judah. Then she ceased bearing.
Amen.
So, takes us all the way back to Genesis, I think. When one of the first things I think that Eve said after she had a son is that the Lord has given me a son, has given me a child. I'm paraphrasing, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But this is still showing that the Lord
blesses whom he wants.
He blesses. He opens wombs and he closes wombs, and we saw that with Abimelech, right? We've seen that with Sarai. We even saw it with Rebecca.
Yeah.
Right.
So the same thing is happening here.
Yeah.
So, anything about the 4 children?
Oh well, before we got to that, I think it was. I think it's interesting how it's worded. The Lord saw that Leah was hated. So I think he had compassion on what you were saying. The situation that Leah found herself in is having to marry this man who truly loved my sister more than me. So at least I can be a blessing to the household.
Right.
The as that culture, to be a parent, to be a mother was valued. So I do have value. You might not love me as much as you love Rachel, but I bring value to this relationship.
Yeah.
I'm still valuable in the sight of God. God still has blessed me to allow me to have kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I think that initially she's not seeing it as God doing until we get to Judah, where she's like, okay, I'll praise God for all others. Yeah.
I picked up on that too.
Yeah.
Because all the rest of the kid, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, before all of it is about trying to get the affection of her husband, and then it becomes what you were saying about the praising God and realizing that she's not hated. She's hated by her husband, but not hated by God. Yeah.
But even the first one, though, she said he has looked upon her affliction in her situation. So she knew that God understood what was she going through, but she still wanted it for the love of her husband.
Yeah. And when anyone gets a chance, just do a little study on the names.
Yeah.
Because what she's talking about, like Reuben, they use all these play on words, like Ra'ah, I think, is to see, and Reuben sort of picks up on that. And so when she says he's seen my affection, it's Reuben. Ru is in seeing, and I think even the Ben is a play on Oni, which is like affliction or misery or something like that. So all of these names are really tied to what they're saying about them. And so that's always interesting to me as well. But yeah, so this is setting up. Let me know if you all think this, but I think this is setting up for like a family rivalry almost.
Yeah.
I've got the one that he loves, who the Lord is not providing any children to, versus the one that he hates. And I always say this whenever there's that love-hate thing. I think it's more, I don't know if he hated her as an active hate.
Yes,
You know what I
didn't
mean?
take it like that.
Yeah, but
that's just the translation. I think it's more so that he didn't love her as much as Rachel.
Right.
Yeah.
And he, it was, you're my wife, I care for you, I have to take care of you kind of thing.
Right.
I have a love for you, but I'm in love
Right.
with Rachel. He wasn't in love with Leah as he wasn't with Rachel.
Yeah.
Not that he hated her.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it could feel like that if you're not that's not what you want as a wife. You want to be the one.
Right.
You
Yeah.
want to be the mom.
Yep.
So,
You want to be the one chosen.
yeah.
I get it. All right. Anything else? I think that finishes up the chapter.
Yes, we made it through.
Yeah, we did. So one thing that we like to do here is to offer an invitation. And again, I mean, I feel like I'm saying these things on repeat this whole time, but Genesis is all about the Lord setting up his family to get to ultimately the one who is going to be the blessing to the world, which is none other than Jesus. And so we see that even here. We see that even in all of the trickeration, all of the switcheroos, all of the things that folks are doing, that God is still working out his plan. And that plan is ultimately for his glory, but it includes the fact that we, as those who are created on day 6, the pinnacle of his creation, those who are meant to represent him in this earth that he created, that we would be reconciled back to him after the fall that happened in Genesis 3. Go back and check out that season we did on Genesis 1 through 11. We talked a lot about the sin and what the fall meant and what it meant for us to be created in the image of God and all of those things. And so it's all about reconciliation, getting us back, bringing us back into himself. And that's done through none other than Jesus. So what we like to do is just offer an invitation, talk about the fact that Jesus is the way that we are redeemed, and we are redeemed by believing in who he is. And he is the one who died for our sins according to the scriptures, the one who was buried. He was buried in a real tomb and was dead, but he is also the one who was raised according to the scriptures. He was raised, what does it say in Romans? The Son of God in power. So we would impress upon you to believe in this Jesus. We would love for you to believe in this Jesus. We do this for our edification, but we do it ultimately that we might grow and be able to present to anyone out there who wants to know who he is. So if you believe those things that I mentioned, his death, his burial, his resurrection, you're given eternal life. You're a child of God. You are a joint heir with Christ, and we celebrate with you and would love to hear from you because it doesn't end there. The next thing to do would be to find a church and to be discipled. And if you have any need for finding a church, or you want to let us know and you have any questions, please hit us up, DM us, do all of those things because we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear from you. All right. I think we're gonna close up.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, thank you
for
being-
joining us.
Yeah, the second time. This time was more formal. The last time was just like, "Hey, who's that? Why is he here? Let's go. Let's get it."
Yeah.
But no, it is good to have you. It's always good to have some guests on. So we appreciate it. All right, folks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all the things. Blah blah blah. And
See y'all next time.
see y'all later. Dude.
Bye.
Yeah.